Hello and welcome to the 2023 Black Podcasting Awards. My name is Latrice Sampson Richards, and I'm your host for this evening as we celebrate the very best in Black podcasting. Tonight, for the first time ever, we are streaming to you all live from Podstream Studios in Times Square. Listen, y'all, they done flew the girl out, okay? We are here in Times Square, and let me tell you, this has been such an amazing experience for me. I am just overwhelmed with how just the city and being in the space and being here for the purpose of celebrating Black podcasters. If you know me in real life, you know I'm a Black podcasting kind of girl. I am always about the community. And so this has really been a dream come true. And I cannot wait for you all to see the show that we have ready for you tonight. We got some live performances coming up for you all. We got lots of categories. And of course, we're going to list all of the winners for the 2023 awards. Before we get started, I want to first of all say thank you to all of our sponsors. First up, we have Push Black, Strike Audio, Sounds Profitable, Realm, Podcast Movement, Blueberry, Shure, Transistor, Pod Glamorit, LWC Studios, Stitcher Studios, Hindenburg, Descript, Afros and Audio, shout out to Talib, Black Podcasters Association, GSD Solutions, Gifted Sounds Network, Sampson Therapeutic Services, and last but not least, Grants for Creators. Thank you to all of the sponsors who have made this evening happen for us and have helped us to be able to bring this year's ceremony to you all again live from Podstream Studios in Times Square. So we're going to go ahead and kick off our evening with our very first musical performance. You all check it out. Let us know how you think about it in the comments.
Seed in the ground, I wonder what it would be. These waiting games, never been for me. You were placed in the dirt, in the ground where no one could see or interrupt. You know you're kind of lonely. No, you're never alone. No, 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 no. So much in store. Precious thing in hide. And the pressure on. Oh, 'cause we can't wait till we're married. Oh no, you were placed in the dirt, in the ground where no one could see or interrupt. I know you're kind of lonely, but you're never alone. Never alone. So when you're broken, let your roots become your anchor. Dig down into the place you thought you'd never be. but you never. Precious seed in the ground. Oh, I wonder what you'll be. You were placed in the dirt, in the ground when no one could see or interrupt. I know you're sometimes lonely, but you're never alone. Whoa, no, no, no.
Let's jump into our very first category for the evening and kick off the night by celebrating creators who transform podcasts into auditory masterpieces. From immersive soundscapes to crystal clear narration, their artistry elevates this medium, proving that quality audio design is the heartbeat of remarkable storytelling. Here are the nominees for Best Sound Design. Black is America, Camp Red Rum, You Didn't See Nothing, and the winner is Black is America. All right, the African diaspora runs far and wide, from Africa, Europe, South America, Asia, and so many more locations. Black podcasters are everywhere. In this category, we highlight these international podcasters for sharing their cultures with us. Here are the nominees for Best International Podcast. Love Janessa, Signal for Help, the UK Black Pride Time Capsule Podcast. And the winner is the UK Black Pride Time Capsule Podcast. One of the things that I love the most about podcasting is that it's such an intimate medium. I mean, people listen to podcasts when they're doing things that nobody ever really gets a chance to experience them in, right? So our next category takes an opportunity to give people a little bit of healing with their entertainment. Here are the nominees for Best Health and Wellness Podcast. Charm Words, Daily Affirmations for Kids, Living for We, Soul Affirmations with Kariga and Felicia. And the winner is Charm Words, Daily Affirmations for Kids. When a podcast has multiple hosts, it just kind of brings the level of energy up to like 10, right? Their banter, their flow of energy, and just the overall atmosphere makes it extremely difficult to turn it off. Here are your nominees for Best Hosting Team. ABCs of Black, Jill Scott Presents, J.Ill the Podcast, The Mama's Den. And the winner is Jill Scott Presents, J.Ill the Podcast. There is nothing like cuddling up with a glass of wine and your favorite book, or in my case, a good audio book, okay? This next category celebrates the power of words and honors those who challenge censorship and foster a love of the written word. Here are the nominees for Best Literary Podcast. E-Reads Podcast. Read, Write, and Create. She Well Read. And the winner is Read, Write, and Create. A good solo host will make you feel like you're sitting on the sofa next to them having a one-on-one kind of conversation. The connection that we're able to build with a solo host is unique and personal. Let's find out which solo hosts get to take home the award tonight. Here are the nominees for Best Host Solo. Love Janessa. Poplar. The Wire at 20. And the winner is The Wire at 20. All right, y'all, listen. Parenting is hard, okay? And even though there is no right or wrong way to do it, we all could use a little bit of encouragement from time to time. From expert insights to heartwarming stories, our next group of podcasters navigate the joys and challenges of raising healthy humans and strengthening family bonds one episode at a time. Here are your nominees for Best Family and Parenting Podcast. Parenting for the Culture. The Black Fatherhood Podcast. The Mama's Den. And the winner is the Black Fatherhood Podcast. Listen, I love a good binge session, okay? There's something about being able to just get my whole life together in 4 to 6 episodes, all right? And so our next category highlights the impact of concise storytelling with major impact. Here are the nominees for Best Limited Series Podcast. Love Janessa. Systemic. You Didn't See Nothing. And the winner is Love Janessa.
Hi, I'm Sam Riddell, host of the Hoe Uprising podcast, and I am presenting the award for Best Sex Podcast. I had the honor of winning this award last year, and I so appreciate the Black Podcast Awards for highlighting work in this necessary and often stigmatized space. And now, here are the nominees for Best Sex Podcast.
Inner Hoe Uprising. The Amazing Clarks. The Lies and Garbage Show.
And the winner is
The Amazing Clarks.
What's the word, everybody? It's your man, Mr. Al Pete of the MPN Network, and I'm here to present to you the Best Music Podcast. It was an honor to win this award last year, and I just want to get some more people to continue putting the music out and making sure that we're setting the standard for how Black music is represented through podcasting. And now, here are the nominees for Best Music Podcast.
50 Years of Hip Hop. Every Voice with Terrence McKnight. Q Points.
And the winner of Best Music Podcast is
Every Voice with Terrence McKnight.
Hi, everybody. I'm Juleyka, and I'm here to present the award for Best Business Podcast, which I can proudly say we won for How to Talk to High Achievers a couple of years ago. I'm so excited to welcome someone new to the ranks. And here are the nominees for Best Business Podcast.
Sponsored by Sounds Profitable. Secrets. Mistakes That Made Me. Savvy Social Podcast.
And the winner for Best Business Podcast is
Mistakes That Made Me.
So that's the only way now, that you can catch me on my stories.
Hi, friends. My name is Krystal Hill, and I am the director of podcasts for a company called Black Love Inc. And I am here presenting the award for Best Education Podcast. Education's dope, y'all. We need it. It's how we learn how to read, write, occasionally do math, depending on what school you went to. Me, not so much. I mean, LA is what it is. They don't teach us the math out here. LA's gonna be mad if I say that. I love LA. They taught us some math. It's okay. But it is what it is. Whatever. Okay, and now here are the nominees for Best Education Podcast.
African Folk Tales with Miss JoJo. Parenting for the Culture.
And the winner is
Parenting for the Culture. But as episodes aired, listeners realized that the host was unraveling their own sinister past, creating a riveting, real-life whodunit that would captivate the world. I mean, I'd listen to it. Here are the nominees for Best True Crime Podcast. Fruit Loops, Serial Killers of Color. Love, Janessa. You Didn't See Nothing. And the winner is Fruit Loops, Serial Killers of Color. As we move into the 2024 election season, many are looking for understanding and trying to find avenues for engagement. Our next category shines a spotlight on the voices that are driving change by keeping us informed. Here are the nominees for Best News and Politics Podcast. Pop Law. The Assignment with Audie Cornish. The Brown Girl's Guide to Politics. And the winner is The Assignment with Audie Cornish.
Hey, friends. I am Krystal, the director of podcasts at Black Love Inc., and I'm super excited to be presenting the award for Best Religion and Spirituality Podcast. I've got some of my favorite crystals ready. Can I collect them all to present this award? This one's real big. It's real heavy for y'all. Okay, we ready? Do I have enough? This one's round. I don't want to drop that. That's real expensive. Okay. I don't know if y'all, we good? We good? Okay. All right. Okay, hold on. I don't know why I need my hands free. I got the cards. We ready? Okay. And now here are the nominees.
Sanctified. Soul Affirmations with Kariga and Felicia. The Portionality Podcast.
Okay. Card. And the winner is, you ready?
Sanctified. Nothing like a good old belly laugh, okay? When you need to unwind or put yourself in a better mood, a good comedy podcast will have you truly laughing out loud. If you want to start or end your day on a good note, listening to a comedy podcast is the way to go. Here are the nominees for Best Comedy Podcast. Funny My Way. Nothing But Greatness. Urban Legends with the Ghost Brothers. And the winner is Funny My Way. All right. Smooth transitions, sound effects, clean audio. So much work goes into editing a podcast. In fact, I think a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into editing a podcast. And so that's why we decided to create this category to highlight some of the best in the business. Here are your nominees for Best Editing. Black is America. Know what you see. Tell her this. And the winner is Black is America. In high school, history was never really my subject, okay? But I say this, I love a good history podcast. Learning about what has happened in the past help us to prepare for what's to come in the future. And our nominees tonight make sure that we all have the information we need to win. Here are the nominees for Best History Podcast. Every Voice with Terrence McKnight. Exchange Place. You Didn't See Nothing. And the winner is You Didn't See Nothing. In 2022, there were over 173,000 new podcasts created. That's a lot of podcasts, y'all. And so tonight, we want to put a spotlight on those new creators and celebrate the work that they're doing to amplify their voices. The nominees for Best New Podcast are Mistakes That Made Me, Shoujo Sunday, Sis Please, and the winner is Mistakes That Made Me. Great storytellers find a way to pull you in and make you believe that the world that they've created is right at your fingertips, with characters that feel familiar in a delightfully unfamiliar way. The next category takes us back to the olden days when people would sit around their radios waiting for the next episode to come out. Here are the nominees for Best Scripted Fiction Podcast. Sponsored by Realm. Bedtime Stories by AKD. Don May Podfix with Jim. Whichever Path. And the winner is Whichever Path. It's not easy hosting a podcast with another person. I mean, being able to feed off of each other, being able to identify each other's cues, it's work and it's a skill. Tonight, we celebrate our best hosting duos who make it look easy. Here are the nominees for Best Host Duo. Black Austin Matters. Sis Please. The Amazing Clarks. And the winner is Sis Please. ESPN is not the only place to get your sports news and commentation, okay? Especially when you're looking for it with a little bit of a twist. Tonight, we honor those podcasters who make it their job to keep us up to date on what's going on in the world of sports. Here are the nominees for Best Sports Podcast. Black Baseball Mixtape. My Hockey Hero. ROS presents Roughhousing. And the winner is My Hockey Hero.
Hi, I'm Florence Barrau-Adams, Senior Producer of Culturati, Conversations with Kierna Mayo.
And I'm Kierna Mayo.
And we are here presenting the award for the Best Culture Podcast.
You know, culture is something that for Black folks begins the day we are born. Our culture is a gift to American culture. I really can't think of a topic that's more important to dissect, understand, talk about, and share. We were so thrilled and beyond honored to be named Best Black Culture Podcast Award for 2022, and I know whoever's on deck next is going to be just as excited.
And now here are the nominees for Best Culture Podcast.
Back Issue, Black Austin Matters, Pop Law. And the winner is Back Issue.
Across that Mississippi, surrounded by streets that wasn't pretty, following my father's direction, learning songs from his blues collection to play just enough blues for the city. Yeah, now, come on, y'all. When it comes to fans, right now I don't have many. Played some shows where I barely made a penny. On the stage, sometimes for several hours. At the end of the night, only making $20. Playing just enough blues for the city. Rod, you got something? Play it, boy! Shows are many, and the money, Lord, I hope it's plenty. If I'm lying and I need someone to guide me, bring me to the stage, cause the blues is still inside me. There's never enough blues for the city. Oh, Carl, you got something? Go on, man, play it! Sure! From New York to LA, everybody, I want you to sing it now. We're playing blues for the city. 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 On the one, y'all.
Hi, everyone. I'm back. It's me, Krystal Hill, Director of Podcasts for Black Love Inc., and I am here to present the award for Best Film and Television Podcast. I love TV. Film, I can take it or leave it, but I'm sure y'all love film. But TV, I got my Angela Lansbury right back here waiting for y'all. Murder, She Wrote is my jam. I'm rooting for the Murder, She Wrote podcast. I don't know if there is one, but I hope there is. I've also been watching Grey's Anatomy. Y'all can catch up right now. There's nothing else going on. 20 years, 500 something episodes. Let's go. But in the meantime, here are the nominees for Best Film and TV Podcast.
Bruh Meets World Podcast. Chat Shit, the official Rap Shit podcast. The class of 1989.
And the winner is
Chat Shit, the official Rap Shit podcast. All right, so as an award-winning podcast producer myself, I must admit I'm a little partial to this next category. A good producer knows how to make it sound seamless. They know how to get the best from their guest, and they know how to choose just the perfect audio to make you feel connected. Here are the nominees for Best Producer. Black Love Podcast Network. Know What You See. Lies and Garbage Show. And the winner is Krystal Hill from Black Love Network. Shout out to Krystal. Love you, girl. Our next category is one of my favorites as well. Black nerds are making a comeback, okay? From Comic-Cons to animes, they have no shame in their game, and they make sure that everybody knows that they enjoy nerd culture. Here are the nominees for Best Blerd Podcast. Play Black, Secret Nerd Podcast. Stitch Please. And the winner is Stitch Please. Food and drink podcasts have exposed me to so many new and interesting treats, and I'm sure that they'll do the same for you. And tonight, we actually have this category. This podcast is in a category all its own. Here's our winner for the Best Food and Drink Podcast, Chefish. All right, so apparently they found aliens out there, y'all. Or it could just be the newest COVID-19 vaccine. Maybe, whatever Twitter is talking about out there in the science world, these podcasters make sure that we're up to date on all of it. Here are the nominees for Best Science and Technology Podcast. Glowing in Tech. Public Health Epidemiology Conversation. And the winner is Glowing in Tech. I love love, and I especially love Black love. This next category celebrates the beauty of getting to our happily ever after, whatever that means. Here are the nominees for Best Relationship Podcast. Black Love, The Interviews. Dates and Mates with Damona Hoffman. The Amazing Clarks. And the winner is Black Love, The Interviews. All right, so y'all know I already told y'all they done flew the girl out to New York, okay? I enjoy taking the flight. I enjoy getting out and seeing the world. Our next set of podcasts take us into spaces that we never knew we could be in and show us that Black people go everywhere, okay? Here are the nominees for Best Travel Podcast. About the Journey. The Joy of Cruising Podcast. Travel and Shit. And the winner is About the Journey. Our next category is, again, one of my favorites. Podcast networks allow indie podcasters to come together to have access to more resources and more exposure. It's a necessary part of our community. So tonight, we're going to honor those podcast networks who put the community first. Here are the nominees for Best Podcast Network. Here are the nominees for Best Podcast Network, sponsored by Podcast Movement, Black Love Podcast Network, the THC Media Network, Women's Wrestling Talk. And the winner is Black Love Podcast Network. Creativity runs deep in the Black community. If we don't know how to do nothing else, we know how to make some stuff happen, okay? Our next category is full of shows who take creativity to the next level and invite us into interesting worlds. Here are the nominees for Best Arts Podcast. Every Voice with Terrence McKnight. Meet Me at the Chazen. Stitch Please. And the winner is Every Voice with Terrence McKnight. During a time when certain communities are being marginalized for their uniqueness and their identities, we wanted to make sure that we highlight those who stand proud and put themselves out there. Here are your nominees for Best LGBTQ Podcast, sponsored by Shore. BFF, Black Fat Femme, Queer News. The UK Black Pride Time Capsule Podcast. And the winner is Queer News. All right, so I'm a podcaster that listens to podcasts. And so this next category makes me extremely excited because we have an opportunity to celebrate one of our own. Here are the nominees for Podcaster of the Year, sponsored by Blueberry, Poplaw, Queer News, Talking Journeys of Belonging to Blackness. And the winner is Queer News.
Hi, I'm Damona Hoffman, the host of the Dates and Mates with Damona Hoffman podcast, and I am presenting the award for Best Podcast of the Year. I won this award last year, and it did so much for me and my podcast. First of all, just being able to say that I was the winner of the Best Podcast of the Year. It brought in new opportunities, new sources of revenue, new relationships, and it really legitimized my podcast for my mom, who was wondering what the heck I've been doing in my garage all of these years. But most importantly, it connected me to this community. And to be awarded from a group of Black podcasters who are looking to elevate other Black voices and celebrate the work that we're all doing, it meant so much. And that's why I am so honored to be here presenting the award for this year's nominees. Here they are.
Sponsored by Podcast Movement. Back Issue. Parenting for the Culture. Queer News.
And the winner is?
Parenting for the Culture. We made it. That's a wrap on the 2023 Black Podcasting Awards. We want to say congratulations to all of the nominees and a big congratulations to all of the winners. You are now and forever an award-winning podcaster. Put that on your resume, okay? We want to say thank you once again to all of our sponsors, Push Black, Strike Audio, Sounds Profitable, Realm, Podcast Movement, Blueberry, Shure, Transistor, Podglomerate, LWC Studios, Stitcher Studios, Hindenburg, Descript, Afros and Audio, Black Podcasters Association, GSD Solutions, Gifted Sounds Network, Sampson Therapeutic Services, and Grants for Creators. We hope that you all have enjoyed our presentation this evening and that you'll tell somebody who need to tell somebody else to tell the other person that if they missed it, they need to tune in because it's on YouTube and they can watch it whenever they want to. Join us in about 30 minutes or so. Look at the link in the description for the after show where I'm going to sit down and unpack some of what took place tonight and celebrate these wins once again. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. As always, we love y'all and we appreciate y'all. And until next time, be well. Bye.